Okay, the first house is my house, and you can see where this once was thick vegetation growth. The chemicals have knocked it out pretty bad. Now I've got algae. Much rather have a little vegetation, clear out the vegetation where I need to, than have algae throughout the whole lake. Probably don't have more than about 3 feet of visibility. We'll go to my next door neighbors, Capitanos, and before we do, you can see how spotty it is. Used to have full coverage of vegetation, which keeps our water clarity and quality, keeps our water clean, keeps the algae down. Now you can see it's very spotty. And same with my neighbors, Capitanos. Theirs is also very thin. Okay, this is more my property. Comes right up between his two docks. Completely stripped of vegetation, as well as John Pitcher. Nothing left there but algae. All right, here's the Egypt Lake Apartments. You see a little bit on their shoreline, but used to be you could come out here even 50, 75 feet and see down, and it's all gone. There's a little piece right there, but with the exception of, I don't know, 50 feet of the shoreline, all of they had a huge bed of vegetation. It's all been wiped out. And here's another, Jimmy Levine, vehemently opposed to chemicals. All he's got is that little bit of vegetation left by the shoreline. Used to be able to come out here, and this property goes out, his property goes out into the lake. There's nothing down there now but algae. And here's Robert Osie's property. Again, goes way out into the lake in a pie shape. And with the exception of about, I don't know, 20 feet there, 25 feet, it's pretty much all gone. A little patch here and there. Used to be nice and thick. And he, like a lot of people, would just clear out behind his boat, behind his wave runner. He'd take care of that himself. Just a small amount of chemicals is all that was needed. Plus we have a mechanical remover now that makes it even easier. And here's Brett Fuller and Mr. Greenwald, Chris Greenwald. Same thing, a little bit on the shoreline there. But as soon as you come out just 50 feet, it's all gone except the algae. This is Javier's property, and used to be crystal clear water right off the end of their dock with vegetation. Nothing but a couple of stitches now, and algae. And this is Mr. Maltese. When he first moved in, we said hello and told him that they were doing mass chemical treatments, and he right away said, "No way, I'm against that. Show me where to sign." And he signed a petition real quick in about 5 minutes of conversation. That's the way a lot of people think about mass chemical treatments, you know. Just the answer's no way. And when you come over here to the Waldron property, you can use some expletive words I've heard used here. He is vehemently against the chemicals, and he used to have some vegetation on his shoreline, and it's all gone. Thanks in part there to his neighbor. There's Mike Dominguez along with Bill Brown. They're the ones that dump the chemicals in late at night so nobody would see them do it, which is a violation of the label. They're supposed to be properly diluted. So you can imagine if the warning labels about staying out of the water is for professional application diluted, this bozo goes and dumps it straight out of straight out of the bottle, straight into the lake, highly concentrated. So you can imagine how dangerous that is. But that's the mentality of these people. Again, Mike Dominguez and Bill Brown. There's Mrs. Campisi. She said no. She signed a waiver. That's all she's got left is a little piece there on the shoreline. And same with Dr. Ho. He's opposed to chemicals. And the Knowles family. Again, they got just a little bit left on the shoreline, but as soon as you look down into the water, nothing left. Nothing but algae. And here's a couple of more of the people that are behind this. The Pizzos and the Allens. It's true they get a lot of runoff, and this area does need a spot treatment. Nobody argues about a spot treatment. They just think they have the right to use a lake-wide mass chemical treatment and destroy other people's property. And of course, this is Mr. Lee. He also signed the petition. Same way, a little bit left on the shoreline, but nothing left in the lake. And this is his property. And this is the Civic Beach property. Obviously, they need a spot treatment to get their boats in and out, and a little area for swimming. But they go ahead and endorse a lake-wide treatment. So there's no excuse for that. It's because you need a spot treatment to ruin everybody else's property. And these are Lakeshore Apartments. I think they changed their name. They had a new company come in and buy them out. Same thing, the previous owners made it clear, keep it away from the shoreline. Actually, they own the whole quarter of the lake. Same thing, a little bit on the shoreline, but as soon as you get out into the water, all you see is a little stitch here and there. And of course, here's the condominiums. They actually, like a lot of people, including myself, hire a company to come out and keep their shoreline taken care of. In my case, it cost me $4,000 because I let it get all overgrown. But it's not that expensive if you're just doing a small portion. And of course, there's Sam Rodriguez. He's the same way. If he needs to use the lake, he'll clear out his own little spot. He doesn't agree with a mass chemical treatment. And there's the gentleman who I spoke with, rents his home from the doctor, and he also signed the agreement. And here's the new residents, Aaron and Elisa. They are people of science. They haven't signed anything, but they certainly know the science behind vegetation and how good it is to preserve the water quality, clarity, and the habitat for small fish and game. And also not approving. These are the Matheny's, and they don't like at all what's been happening to their lake, and I think they might even send a memo out on it. And there's Buster Elks. He doesn't approve of chemicals either. And you'll see, even though he's 87 or years old, he see that pile out there by the corner of his lot. He goes out and pulls it up himself. And the same with his neighbor, Abby Paul. They also signed. They don't want it. As you can see, same as the whole lake. All they got's a little bit on the shoreline, and what they used to have, and nice and thick out here, is completely gone. Nothing but algae. And this is David Lloyd. He likes to keep it all natural, and he has signed the agreement too to keep chemicals out of the lake. But if you'll notice, that's the carp gate. The association is supposed to be keeping that closed. And you can see if you look real close, hope I can see that there. Yeah, it is, the gate is pulled open so the carp can go right out. And of course this gives them an excuse to nuke the lake. They'll claim somebody, perhaps even me, that likes the carp and wants a few more carp, that I was letting them out. Somebody let them out, so now they need to nuke the lake. So it'll be the third year in a row. But they'll use that kind of excuse to justify their actions. And these are the three Westerfield properties. They're managed by Oscar Westerfield for his brother Jerry Westerfield. And the same thing. Used to have a real nice bed of submerged, out of the way, wasn't interfering with anybody. Okay, and all it did was keep our water clean and clear, and provided fish habitat. And it's all gone. And we were only 3 weeks into the chemical treatment. It's going to get a lot worse. The algae will get a lot worse. And you just have to wonder. I mean, he's a former FBI agent that believes the Warren Commission report. Does that figure or what? And here it is. This is how pathetic it is. This used to be full and green. There's not but a little stitch here or there. It's all that's left on the Westerfield property.